Hey Mama, welcome back to another episode on the One Income Family Podcast. Here I am with you today, scratching the surface of creating a simple and frugal kitchen. There are so many stages in the kitchen, so don't leave me just yet because you think this episode is going to be all about baking bread and preserving your garden. On the contrary, this is just the first step towards that goal. I mean, if that's even a goal that you have. If not, and all you want to do is this level 1 kitchen, then you do you, girl. With that said, here are 4 key ways to creating your level 1 kitchen and are just a simple entry towards a frugal and simple kitchen. They are only as difficult as you wish them to be, so don't make it difficult. And they can be a complete game changer towards your grocery budget. So take a moment, go grab your coffee, and let's plan your simple money-saving kitchen. Hey friend, welcome to the One Income Family Podcast. Do you live primarily on your husband's income and find it hard to save or get out of debt? Are you constantly searching for ways to cut costs, live frugally, and do things on a budget? Do you have big dreams only to be stopped by overspending and loosely following your budget? Hey, I'm Molly, and I too have struggled with living and growing a family on one income. But through trial and error and a lot of help from God, my family and I have learned how to live abundantly on less. This podcast will bring you a Christ-centered, simple, and frugal lifestyle, along with how to budget so you can follow it and time management tips that will transform your budget and your home. So go restart that laundry, grab your Bible, and let's get budgeting. So I hear you want to stay on budget so that you can achieve your financial goals like becoming debt-free or going on that family vacation. But your finances, you fear, are so tight already that you don't want to feel poor by taking what little money is left in your paycheck and throwing it at debt or into a savings account that you can't touch. Mama, I want to stop you right there and let you know that this is not how it has to be. I know this because I am a budget coach, and if you get on a budget checkup with me, I will teach you how to find where your money is going and learn what your true spending habits are. Trust me when I say you can live on one income. You do not need to work from home or get a side gig, and you can stay on budget. It's just a matter of learning where your money is going, deciding if that's where it should go, and then making tweaks in your budget. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to stop drinking, those coffees that you really enjoy getting in the morning, or get rid of Netflix, or stop doing the things in life that truly bring you joy. On the contrary, we will be keeping those things in your life because that's part of your self-care. So my friend, go and grab a free 10-minute confirmation call with me to learn more about how a budget checkup session can transform your finances. Go to calendly.com/Molly Bunnell, which is calendly.com/Molly with a Y, Bennell, so that you can get your finances working for you, stay on budget, and achieve those goals that you wish to have. Alrighty, so like I said, today I'm going to be talking about 4 key ways to living simple and frugal in the kitchen, and it will save you money and also save you time. So you get a win-win both ways, right? And I am just super excited. I can't say when or how I found these. These are just things that I have learned and tweaked and just created along the way. And I really just hope that they can help you and just to further your frugal living and simple living lifestyle that you are trying to create so that you can live on one income with less stress and less overwhelm and, get back both time and money from this simple, these 4 simple tips that I have for you. So we're going to just dive into those. The first one I have for you are your recipes. So your recipes can be something that can either take a lot of time and take a lot of money based on how many ingredients are in the recipe. So, for instance, when I look at a recipe and I'm trying to figure out something that I want to add to my meal plan, I look for something that maybe has a max of 10 ingredients in it, and sometimes that's even pushing it. I really enjoy those like 4 or 5 ingredient items where I can just dump and go, right? Saves time, saves money, and it just really makes the headache go away. So, when I'm looking for simple recipes, definitely look for the smaller recipe list. The smaller the recipe list, the better. And again, not only does it save you time, but it saves you money. And it's just the idea of being simpler because you can just throw it together instead of going, well, this is going to take 50 different steps. I mean, now, if you're thinking of like bread or those kind of recipes, they're going to be much more intricate of a recipe, more instructions and things that you have to do. But I'm talking about just like those simple skillet meals or crock pot recipes or, casseroles that you throw in the oven, just something simple that doesn't take a lot of ingredients. It doesn't take a lot of time. And those are generally the ones that are easy to make, especially if you're just getting into this cooking from scratch. And yes, I just said scratch with quotation marks because it's not necessarily from scratch. However, it is the first step, the first level in creating meals from scratch is by just getting smaller recipes and putting them together instead of buying things like Hamburger Helper, or there's a lot of like those Hungry Man or some. I don't buy those TV dinners, whatever the TV dinners are. They're not only though are they cheaper and a lot quicker to make, but they're also healthier because it's not as much, there aren't as many preservatives in there, and I could just go on. So my first tip are recipes. Look for ones with 10 items max and then go from there. So moving on from recipes, we then go into the next step, which is meal planning. And as I've already mentioned in many episodes before, you have to have a meal plan to track your grocery bill and get all of the items that you need for in that period. That way you know how much it's going to cost and that you were able to get everything. And maybe instead of being able to get something that's more of a bulk item, you went down a little bit so that you could be able to afford to get everything that you needed. Like, I don't know, lotion, or maybe you needed to get a shirt this go around, or there's so many different situations that could happen. But definitely have a meal plan, and I suggest doing a 2-week period. I have an episode about this if you want to go check it out. But if you are new at meal planning, keep it simple. Do 1 week at a time and then work up to 2 weeks so that you don't get stressed and you don't get overwhelmed. And remember to meal plan, base it off the ingredients on your shelves and in your pantry and what you already have in your refrigerator, because you don't want to waste money by buying things you already have and then letting them spoil in the refrigerator. Like, that is the number one, which I can't actually say the number one because I haven't done the math on it or the research on it or anything. But to me, it's the number one way to waste money is throwing food away. It's terrible. Like, why would you buy it if you're just going to throw it away? I mean, at least if it's something like, I don't know, Kleenexes or toilet paper. If you got too much, you can either keep it for later on down the road, or if it's something that you can sell it and get some money back. But food, you cannot get it back. It has to get thrown out if it's spoiled, plain and simple. So meal planning, it saves you money. Again, it saves you time. And once you find some family favorite meals, you can just add it. Plus, it saves you time and brain power on the day of cooking these recipes. You're already busy enough as it is, so why complicate it by trying to figure out what you're going to do for supper as well? You don't have to follow the recipe to a T even. I mean, sometimes I will cook based on how the day went and how simple the meal is, or if I forget to pull out meat, I know I can fry up hamburger, still a little frozen, easier than I can grill half a frozen hamburger that I pattied into hamburgers. Like, it just makes sense. You don't have to follow your recipe or your meal plan exactly. You can change things up based on how the day or week is going. Once you've mastered meal planning, you can then move on to bulk buying and changing up the way you buy groceries, but that's for another day. I don't want to overwhelm you. So just stick to first finding your recipes that are small and simple, then moving on to meal planning so that you have that list. You can stick to the list, get everything you need, not go over budget. It makes it easier. I have more tips on meal planning, like I said, in another episode. Maybe I'll link them in the show notes for you so that you can easily access them. But moving on from recipes and then meal planning, I have kind of already mentioned this, but use your leftovers. So my favorite way to meal plan, my all-time favorite way to meal plan is doubling up on recipes so that I have enough for 2 meals in a row. I then make it all at once on one day, and then I pull it out the next day and we eat it again. Now, if you don't like to reheat your food, or if you don't like to eat it 2 days in a row, you can make it up right then and there. What's left over, throw it in the freezer to eat next week sometime, but it's still the same meal. And it's then you're pulling it out. It's like a new day. It's fresh. You're thawing it, reheating it in a different way than just in the microwave. And it's totally, sometimes can maybe be even better. But you're using those leftovers. You're not letting them go to waste. You're not throwing food out. I'm not perfect by any means. Even though we eat a lot of leftovers, there are still times that I forget about something. Or I go and I make a meal and I'm like, shoot, I was going to use that as a side. It's already made and in the refrigerator. For instance, last night I had potato salad made from a potluck we went to over the weekend. And I was going to eat it as a side last night. And guess what? I made an extra side. Now, it's not going to go to waste because, it's still fresh. However, it was something that now I'm like, oh shoot, how am I going to use it now? I got to figure out with my meal plan, figure out how I'm going to throw it in there. But, a lot of times then I just eat it for lunch, which that's something you can do too. If you don't want to eat it as another supper meal, you can eat it for lunches throughout the week. It's a great thing to do. There's so many things you can do with it. And if you don't like leftovers, you can also learn how to tweak the recipe so that they aren't leftovers. So if there's like meat left over, you can throw it into like a pasta dish. Or if there's pasta left over, maybe you can make a casserole out of it. I don't know. Use your brain and get creative. It's fun to do. But do not waste your money by wasting your food. That is a big no-no. And I challenge you to start using your leftovers in some way, some creative way, or just like I do, use it the next day just so it gets eaten and you're not throwing that food away. Or if you absolutely do not like leftovers, learn how to start cooking less so that you're filling everybody up and there are no leftovers left. If you need, a little bit of bread to finish filling you guys up, then maybe that's what you do. But get creative and try to figure out ways that you can not waste your money by wasting your food. Okay, so that's number 3 is use your leftovers. Number 4, and this is kind of it's a little more difficult, more of a minimalist kind of thinking, but stop buying kitchen items. Now, this can be a little bit, of a struggle because we like our kitchen gadgets. They make life easier and simple. However, I bought an air fryer for Christmas and I was super excited and I started making things on it. And then I realized I really don't like it. I had to find new recipes because I've never really made anything fried because I didn't like the oil. So I was like excited. Oh yeah, I'll get to fry up French fries and stuff like this. I've maybe fried sweet potato fries and that's about it because I don't like the cleanup of it and I don't like the way a whole bunch of stuff comes out on it. Now I do like when you can't grill in the wintertime because it's so cold out, because it gets, below zero a lot of the times here, um, it can help like make that kind of grilled taste for like steaks and stuff. But again, then I have to drag it out because it's a big item. I don't just leave it on the counter, and I have to clean it, and it's a pain in the butt, and I just realized I don't really like it. So I don't know. I haven't decided if I want to keep it or if I want to get rid of it. But it's one of those things that's cluttering up my kitchen, and I just need to think about that before I buy it next time. Like, do I really want to start frying foods? Do I really want that before I go into buying mode? So I know I was also given a Keurig. Here's another example. I was given a Keurig, and we don't really use it. Mostly because the coffee is way too strong for me. I don't mind like the hot chocolates or the apple ciders, that kind of stuff. But when it comes to coffee, I don't really like super strong coffee. And those Keurig cups are super strong. Yes, you can get the reusable ones. And yes, you can make it not so strong that way. And it's more convenient because it's one cup instead of a whole bunch of cups. However, I still, when I go to make coffee, use my coffee pot over my Keurig. And I like it so much better. It tastes so much better. It's better quality. I think maybe there's not as many preservatives in there. I'm sure there's still a lot of preservatives in coffee. I would like to go the grind it my own way. However, I'm not a big coffee drinker, which is another reason why having a Keurig and buying those expensive keg cups is not something that is important to me and I shouldn't be doing. And we don't. So it just sits there and clutters up my kitchen. And the only reason I really keep it around is because when my dad comes to visit, he brings keg cups. I'm like, I don't want to get it out, but I don't want to put it away because he kind of comes often. It's one of those, what should I do in that situation kind of thing. What would you do? Let me know. Come join me in the free Facebook group and let me know what you would do in this situation. But I've also bought some things to try to speed up food prep, and I should have got like a food processor, but instead I got single hand choppers like onions and French fries, and there was one more, a cheese grater, and like they're great. However, if I would have just put it all into one thing and got I forgot what I just said. The food processor, then it was essentially the same price. I got the single items by hand because I was thinking, oh, it'll be cheaper. But if I would have been thinking and planning, it would have been cheaper and easier and saved more time if I had just gotten the food processor. So I love my kitchen gadgets, and they do make my kitchen simpler and they save me time. But I've lost a lot of money in the long run because I didn't make a plan, or I didn't think about how I would use the product before buying it. So the first step, I want to tell you, the first step in being frugal and saving money is creating a plan. Well, that might just be the definition of being frugal, is creating a plan and knowing like the better choice beforehand, and then going out and buying whatever product it is. So with that being said, my 4 tips are recipes, meal planning, use your leftovers, and stop buying them kitchen products. So how can you take action right now? My advice is to start with meal planning. Well, I guess first with the recipes, then go into meal planning, and then move on to the other things. Definitely start with that meal planning and those recipes, because that's where you're going to find a lot of that money that could be just thrown at other things that you don't necessarily need, which again, if you have a meal plan and you have these recipes, then you won't be buying those kitchen items because you're making recipes with things that you already have. And maybe you want to add something in, but definitely sit down and make a plan with how you're going to incorporate that new item into your recipe list, and whether it's actually going to be worth the cost or if it's just going to cost you. So definitely get a simple kitchen by keeping a small and simple meal plan, creating a a binder or a cookbook of your own. Find 6 simple recipes, reuse them, and use the 7th one to start searching for new recipes to create and fill your simple and frugal living kitchen recipe book. And these will all be recipes that you won't cut into your budget, and they won't cut into your time, and they'll be what your family enjoys, and they'll save you time throughout this process. So start with the goal of 20 recipes, and then either stop or keep going. It's up to you. But this is always, it allows you to eat good while on a budget. So I hope that this episode found you really learning and expanding and growing so that you can continue to learn how to budget and figure out how to stay on budget through these 4 simple tips. So again, if you want to stay on budget, I hear that you want to stay on budget. I know that you want to stay on budget so that you can achieve your financial goals, like becoming debt-free and going on that family vacation. But your finances, they're already tight, and you don't want to feel poor by taking that little money that is left in your paycheck and throwing it at debt or into a savings account that you can't touch. I want to stop you right there and let you know that it's not the way that it has to be. I know this because I am a budget coach, and if you get on a budget checkup with me, I will teach you how to find where your money is going and learn what your true spending habits are. So trust me when I say that you can live on one income. You do not need to work from home or get a side gig. You can stay on budget. It's just a matter of learning where your money is going, deciding if that's where it should go, and making tweaks in your budget. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to stop drinking your coffee, get rid of Netflix, and stop doing all the things that you enjoy in life. On the contrary, we will be keeping those things in your life because that is part of your self-care. So, mama, go grab a free 10-minute confirmation call with me to learn more about how a budget checkup session can transform your finances. So go to calendly.com/Molly Bunnell. That's calendly.com/Molly with a Y, Bennell. And let's get your finances transformed, get you achieving your financial goals and living abundantly. So I pray that you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week. Hey friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I pray that it inspired you into action. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with that friend who also lives on one income and wants to learn how to live abundantly on less? Also, please leave a quick review for the show. It lights me up to know this podcast is helping you, and it helps get the show out there to other mamas in need. All right, well, it's time to go play with the babies, so I will meet you back here on Tuesday for another episode. Peace and chicken grease, mama.